Oh, yes, it is time. We are here in the movie dojo, Big one today, chat. We have the legend, Isaac Florentine, in the house, one of the best action directors going today. And it is an honor and a pleasure to have you here, hanging out with the samurai in the movie dojo. Isaac, how have you been, my friend?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh man, this is huge. This is very huge for us over here because we are huge fans. Right now, we already got people showing up in chat. We got Jake Hall saying good morning, Isaac Florentine, big fan, and we got Kai Expo 001. He's also saying good morning and saying hello. And I'm sure because for over here it's early, so the movie dojo army will slowly be trickling in and to check out and to hang out with us today because they are fans of your work. But yeah, it's funny because I was a fan of your work without really getting to know you until later because I was collecting some of your early work, and then I didn't know you were the same guy. But you'll see more what I'm talking about when we kind of go through your career here. But first off, again, thank you for hanging out in the movie dojo today. But first off, right around we got to the Undisputed 2 film, which is phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
I was watching the special features on the DVD, and I had absolutely no idea that you were a martial arts badass in real life here. Look at you here.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I did not know that. So how long have you been taking martial arts? And
50 years since I was a kid, and actually it's martial arts that led me to come to a decision to become a movie director. I started when I was around 13. That was back in Israel when I was a kid. Started with karate, and I kind of made a conscious decision never to quit, and I never quit. I just kept on training, and that's it.
nice. What were some of the disciplines that you've been studying all these years?
Mainly karate. I mean, that's my passion. I did some also a little bit of Muay Thai and
Yeah,
but my heart is really in karate. I think
nice.
there's
Nice.
a lot of layer, a very interesting history, and there's so much in it that you can concentrate in so many things at different ages, and it's all there.
Nice. Awesome. You have Lopez here. He's saying, hello, Fat Samurai Guy and Isaac. He loves your work. Undisputed 3 is on his top 5 best martial arts movies of all time. Look at that. So I told you to be trickling in here to say hello. But that is awesome. Karate. Yes. Love that. Love it. And but I'm sure actually training in the art and learning the art uh, did that help you in terms of directing fight sequences as well? Was that also a plus that you actually knew martial arts?
So let me flash back a little bit.
Sure.
I got interested in movies at a very young age because basically, when I grew up in Israel, it was a small country surrounded by enemy, 2.5 million people, no television. So
Right.
really, the place for entertainment was cinema, and I used to go a lot to the movies. And then I saw in the early 70s Bruce Lee, Fist of Fury. I was very, very inspired by it. I was training by then, but it also inspired me to understand that you can do a genre or a subgenre of martial arts movies, and it really, I mean, it was very interesting for me. So
Nice.
karate gives you, or any martial arts, gives you the benefit of life is not only just for self-defense, because if you train correctly, it's a way to set goals and to achieve them. That's, let's say, the belt system. It's a way of dissecting stuff and understanding how to do priorities of what to do, how not to do, self-discipline. And later, when I went to film school, or even before that in school, or when I was in the military, everything that I did was according to that system of dividing stuff, priority, 1, 2, 3, 4, everything is systematic. And when I decided to become a director, I knew that I want to do action movies, of course. And understanding, coming from martial arts background, helped me to not only design the action, understand how to shoot it and how to bring it in a correct pace, because it's not, you have to shoot it correctly. You have to create a certain pace that will flow. And it all came together.
Nice, beautiful. Yeah, I figured that would actually be a benefit and help in your directing and fight choreography, that you having that background of martial arts, which is awesome, which is awesome. And going through your career, we're gonna bounce around here. And I didn't know you actually directed a lot of the old school Power Ranger episodes here. Look at
Yes,
that, you did so many.
I did a lot of Power Rangers, and actually, Power Rangers. I stumbled into Power Ranger in the first season. I knew the producers; they were shooting it then. Before I came,
Yeah,
just started shooting it, and it was the American way of filming of let's shoot a master and cover it, and then they tried to blend it with the Japanese way of shooting that was edit to camera, which means you make your editing decision before you shoot. And it didn't, it was like oil and water. And at a certain point, one of the producers, Ron Yadar, said, look, I know somebody that is a martial artist, is a filmmaker, he knows that genre, let's try him. If it works, wonderful. If not, let's bring the team from Japan. And I came and I did some kind of test,
yeah.
flight test. It really worked well. And I started working in the series, and I was there for many years. And as a matter of fact, the beauty of that series, because I was directing every day, as it's like training, as a director, you direct and direct and direct. So you gain your confidence, you gain your skill. Also, the producers were very open-minded, and they let you do experiments. So I used it as a lab to do experiment to see what works, what doesn't work, what can I improve, and later took that conclusions that I had into features.
Nice, nice. And that is really awesome. So you were learning and soaking in experience and getting your feet dirty around this time. And
Exactly.
then yeah, but what's interesting is they keep talking about they're going to bring Power Rangers back to the on the big screen over here, and they keep failing, and fans just want to go back to this era. Fans just like they love the early era of Power Rangers. This is like where the fandom is, where it stays. So any new future Power Ranger movie projects, they're always like, "Hey, we got to make sure we go back to the nostalgia era because that's where the fan base really is." So let's see. Who knows what they're going to do with the future movies that they're going to make? I know a lot of people were disappointed with the 2017, I believe, Power Rangers live action film. A lot of fans of this era right here, your era, they went into that movie and they were kind of disappointed.
But
So hopefully they get it right this time.
there is a reason for it. When we started shooting it, if you look at the first few seasons, it's very, very cheesy on purpose.
Yeah.
There is no logic. Uh,
No.
I remember once on the set, I had one of the executives in Saban coming and tell me, Isaac, I don't understand the logic. There is no master that you're shooting. There is no logic behind it. And I told you, his name was Winston. Winston, what are you talking about? Look at the Japanese footage. They jump in Tokyo, they land in Paris. I mean, there is no logic in here. And
Yeah.
that's what made it fun. That's what
Yeah.
people like. But
Yeah.
the problem is when once they start to bring it to a feature, they bring other directors, feature directors, or let's say, I mean, directors that don't understand the quirkiness of it, and
Yeah.
they try to reinvent the wheel. You don't want to reinvent the wheel in a Power Rangers.
No, there you go. Perfect. Very well said. We have Kevin Lambert here saying Awesome. He did Power Rangers. That's cool. So he's all buzzing over here. He's fanboying over here, which is awesome. But yeah, we're very well said. You've nailed it. Now here this takes me back too. Again, this is what I was talking about. Me being a fan of you without really getting to know you yet, your work yet. I used to watch this on TV a lot, man. WMAC Masters. This is old school. You know, I mean, the popularity of Mortal Kombat kind of spawned this show, but man, I remember this show back in the day. I used to watch it and I used to have a lot of fun watching people kick ass and take names. And the fight choreography's legit. Like the fight choreographies were very well filmed, and it was a fun show. I highly remember that fondly. Is that where you kind of did you meet up with Shannon Lee then for High Voltage, or
Yes.
did you? Oh, nice.
A few words about the show. So
Sure.
Power Rangers gave me the opportunity to go into experiment in one way. Then when WMAC Master came, the idea the producer wanted to do it like supposedly it looks real, even though it can never look real because it's a martial art, so you don't really hit because it's all smoke and mirrors.
Right.
So I came with a concept of coming and doing long takes without cutting. In order to do it, you really have to have correct camera moves that will go according to the performers, so the hit will read. And the pace is very important. Sometimes we had 16 or 17 takes. So again, it was a lab for me to do continuous style, continuous thing. Look, it's one shot. You see composition in the foreground. Look at those crossings. They came from Power Rangers. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Crossings that we use the patties in Power Rangers, I brought it here. And people are unaware. When I do a feature, you can see if you go down to the base, you see the base of Power, and when it comes to action, the base of Power Rangers and WMAC Masters. Even though when you do a movie, it's rated R, and Power Ranger is PG, and this is also PG, but if you go to the base, you see this film style that I started to get experience with it and
Yeah.
do it in the early 90s. The problem with WMAC Masters, I think that the show was ahead of its time. It came too early. Second, we shot it in video, and then the video cameras were not as good as now. It was not like the Red that you're shooting now. You couldn't play with speeds, and it really limited you.
Gotcha.
So it's a pity because I loved the show and it was fun to do it, and you had some great people there.
Yeah, yeah. I used to watch it on TV. It was a blast. I rented High Voltage and I actually went out and bought it on DVD. That's how much I enjoyed it. Again, a fan of your work without really knowing you yet. But how was it working with Shannon Lee and Sabato here, Junior?
Wonderful. I mean, Shannon is a lady. I mean, we met before in WMAC Masters. Needless to say, the influence that her father had on me is enormous, not only in martial arts. The decision to come from a small country to America, to dare to direct movie, it was for me the model. It was for me the influence. You know, I said it gave me it was the idol for me. Okay, suddenly you're working with his daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
With Antonio, that was his very first feature. He did TV before. And it was a pleasure to work with him. What a nice guy to work with. Such a gentleman. I mean, it's like, it was a fantastic experience, you know.
Nice.
And it in about 20 days. It was a hard shoot. Also, I had there Billy Zabka from the Karate Kid, and now Cobra.
Yeah.
It was a very nice shoot. It was tough to shoot, hard schedule, but again, the same concept that I had is every movie that I shoot, before I shoot it, I have my shot list. I know what I'm going to do in every scene, shot by shot. So I'm not going to a set and, okay, what are we doing now? No. I'm going, I know sometimes, many times the set is built for the way that I had it already planned. And then when I come, because it's so low budgets, I come to the set, I push everybody, come on, let's shoot, let's shoot, let's shoot, let's shoot. So there is no time to basically, there is time sometimes to stop and make a small discussion or adjustment, but we know where we're going.
Right, right, right. So it's just fast and furious filmmaking, but you still had it planned out to make it work. That's
Always.
awesome.
Always.
Nice, nice. So you really, I mean, not only did you make a movie with the legendary Bruce Lee, his daughter, the icon himself, but of course, over the course of your career, you also made movies with some other action icons here, some other badass martial artists, which we'll get to, which is really awesome. And I ran into a lot of these at martial arts conventions. I'm not going to show pictures or anything, but they're all awesome people. But yeah, Oliver Gruner here, and Savat, aka Savat, is the other title for this one, the fighter, which is a martial arts western here. How was it working with him?
Very good experience. So you have to understand, I'm not a writer. I actually wrote two movies, not co-wrote. Savat was one of them. Why? It was based on a French officer, Joseph Charlemont. He really did to Savat what Bruce Lee did to Kung Fu or to martial arts. This was in the 1860s, 1870s. Actually, it was the Savat teacher of the author Alexander Dumas, who wrote The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, nice.
In
Yeah.
1865, he was an officer in the French army and was stationed in Mexico. Now, I grew up on Italian westerns, on spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
I year
Trouble.
1865, Mexico. Immediately, I saw in front of my eye a great western called The Big Gun Down with Lee Van Cleef and Thomas Millian. It was
Yes.
the director,
Classic.
Sergio Sulema. And I said, wow, here's an opportunity to do a spaghetti western with martial arts, totally legit, not far-fetched. It's not Kung Fu. It's a guy that is a French officer, and the right guy to do it was Olivier, which actually served in the French army before.
Oh, that's right. Was he a
We
Navy SEAL? He was a Navy SEAL also?
No, he was in the. I think he was in the French Foreign Legion. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
wow.
He was.
Okay.
He was in the French military. Basically, yes, he was in the Foreign Legion. Yes, he was.
Okay.
So basically, we shot it in LA. It was an American movie, but I shot it like an Italian movie.
Yeah.
We had the luck to have there Mark Singer and also Arlie Ermy from Full Metal Jacket and James
Yeah.
Brown.
Nice.
It was a shoot. That was my third feature, and really, that was my second feature. And really, in the first feature and the second feature, I was still looking for the style. I was still a little bit going according to the way that things are done, like, let's say, muster and coverage, and some that I went with my gut. By the third movie, that was High Voltage, I said, I'm not going by the standard, I'm going according to my gut. And this, for me, was the breakthrough. I felt that movie brought me like to what I felt comfortable, and since then, that's the only style that I'm going.
Nice.
I kind of not going according to what the industry was, the standard industry way of filmmaking that really started in the States in the 30s when they were shooting with sound and comedies and dramas.
Yeah.
So it's not working for action.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Gotcha. Awesome. I also ran into this guy, Gary Daniels.
Yes.
I see again with Cold Harvest here. Another movie, rented it, went out and bought it right after. Again, a fan of your work, not knowing you yet. But yeah, I ran into Gary Daniels. I met him in real life at the convention. Very nice guy.
Great.
And Barbara Crampton's in this too.
Amazing lady. I learned from her. Something about that movie, but first I learned from Barbara because I knew she was big on television and soap and whatever. She did a scene and she blew me away. And I came to her and said, Barbara, how did you do it? And because it was, sometimes you're afraid from people that were doing too much television that they will be too big. And in a
Right.
movie, really, you want to be small. Here's what she told me, and it's something that I'm taking with me. You know, you learn from everybody. She said, look, she learned that when she does a drama, the aperture, the emotions, or the feeling is the same here. It's the aperture, how much is open or closed. When it's a television, it's kind of more open. Or let's say when it's a soap, it's fully open. When it's episodic or television, semi-open. When it's a movie, because it's a big screen, almost closed. But the energy is the same
Yeah.
energy. And I
Right.
was like, wow, okay, I learned from her. Now, some of
Nice.
that movie, it was shot in South Africa. I didn't know that the winter in South Africa is our summer. It was freezing cold. We
Oh
were
my goodness.
right. And the choreography, Yuji Noguchi, that I worked with him many times from Alpha Stand, he works with his left foot. I mean, that's his strong side.
Yeah.
Everything was choreographed for the strong side. We had to change it for Gary. I mean, it was funny, but it worked really well. It was a great shoot. It was wonderful to work with Brian Genetsty and Gary. And if you look at the movie, it's a futuristic spaghetti western,
Yeah.
and it's something that when there was the script, I told Frank Dietz wrote the script. He used to be an animator in Disney and animated Kella, Tarzan's mother, etc. for the movie. And basically, I told then Millennium New Image, that was my first movie with them. I told them, look, I'm going to make it like a Western. And they told me, yes, we understand. And I was telling them, look, I'm going to make it as a Western. They said, yes. So I made up my mind. The convention on that time was that every futuristic movie, they look like the 50s. And I said, no, I want to make it like it's a spaghetti Western. A comet falls into Earth, it's full of dust. They're all having dusters.
Yeah.
So when they saw the dailies, they called me and says, you're doing a Western. I told him, yes, I told you I'm going to do a Western. But they said, yeah, but we didn't think that you literally meant to do a Western.
Well, I'm glad you did it as a Western because it's a lot of fun that way. And, you know, just earlier, I'm already even more of a fan of you for you saying that you love the big gun down because I love me some Lee Van Cleef now. But yeah, the action in Cold Harvest is legit, especially the fight sequence at the end with our finale fight between Gary Daniels and the villain. It
We
is a
shot
phenomenal
in
fight.
the kitchen. We shot in the kitchen of the studio. Everything was done in the studio. We took everything out of the kitchen, not at the kitchen, the mess hall. We
Yeah.
painted it, you know, everything was shot right there.
Hey, hey, if it works, right? If it works, that's all that matters, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah.
We see who else we got in chat here. We got let's see. Where is he? I just saw him. We have another action future martial arts action director here hanging out with us. There he is. Ranjit Marwa is hanging out with us today.
How
There
are
you
you?
go. He's saying, "Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, Ranjit?" Yep, he's on his way. He loves action cinema as well, so he's working on all kinds of projects. So yeah, people are showing up, man. This is awesome. But yeah, Cold Harvest went out and bought it after I rented it. Really enjoyed that one. Really enjoyed it. And Gary was great in it. Really great fight at the end of that film.
Yes.
But let's go ahead and get to. Oh wait, hold on. We don't want to skip any other action icons here. So, Bridge of Dragons. How was it working with Dolph?
So I actually met Dolph in 1980. I was training in karate. The main dojo that we had in Israel, the headquarters was actually in Stockholm, Sweden. So my teacher's best friend, they were in the Swedish team. My teacher is Thomas Weber. His best friend was Åke Nygren. They were in the Swedish karate team. Åken's best friend was Dolph. And then he and Åken were not bodyguards, but door guards or whatever, doormen in some kind of a nightclub, I think called Atlantica or whatever.
Yeah.
So I used to see him a lot. And actually, I went and I trained in the dojo in 1980. So Dolph was then going to MIT to study the mechanical engineering, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that I'll be a director. I didn't think. This is 1980. I just finished my military service in Israel, went to Sweden to train, didn't think of anything. Years later, That's in 1998. 18 years later, I came to his office in New York with a producer that was a mutual friend of ours, Yoram Barzilai. And he's looking at me and he knows me, but he couldn't put connect things.
Yeah.
Behind him, there was a big picture of his people from his Swedish dojo. And I said, here is Brian Fitkin, his sensei. Here is Oke Nigren. And then he immediately recognized me and the ice broke. So
Nice.
actually, that movie, Bridge of or Cold Harvest, was done because he wanted to get in a legit way his third dan in karate and left everything, went to Sweden to train a few months to be tested like everybody else. And meanwhile, Millennium wanted to do a movie, so we did Cold Harvest. Yes, Cold Harvest. We were supposed to do Bridge of Dragons also in South Africa, but we ended up in Bulgaria, and we shot it in Bulgaria. It was the very first American movie shot in Bulgaria, I think.
Oh, nice.
Hell, it was tough because they were unorganized, but we managed to pull it. When I finished shooting, apparently the day after, we found out that 19% of the footage was scratched, and I had to cut around it. That was hell.
Oh, no.
Yes, I hate that movie because of it. The ending shot is some kind of a big camera shot, but to work with Dolph was a pleasure. He's very analytic. He thinks about what he does, and it was really a pleasure to do with it. You know, you want to work with people that enjoy the process, you know.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. So
Nice.
yeah.
So there was that big positive out of it. At least you got that out of making that movie, is working with Dolph. And he's legit karate himself, right?
Basic. Yes.
Legit.
Guy. Yes, absolutely. He's a student of Brian Fitkin, and Brian was also in the movie. Brian was in the British team that in 1972 defeated the Japanese team and took the World Championship. That was a big deal in 1972. So,
nice.
Yes.
James here says, Isaac Florentine, a master of action, fantastic director. James giving you a shout out there.
I appreciate it. Look, I like the genre. It's
yeah.
You know?
Well, it's one of the best genres of all time, maybe the best. But let's keep it karate here. I did not know you were involved with a documentary about Bob Wall.
So, okay.
Okay.
Around 99, there's a story behind everything.
Sure.
I met somebody that actually I knew him through Martial Arts Magazine in the early 70s, Don Warner. He was the Canadian reporter of a magazine called Inside Karate, and official karate. And we met by chance. And at that time, I really wanted to do also to open a line of instructional martial arts. So we joined forces, became a business partner, and best friends. Don knew everybody. Everybody loved him. He's got a fantastic reputation. One of them was Bob Wall. And Bob basically they did some kind of, how do you call it?
Like interviews or?
Interviews, but it was more of like a banquet when people like scold you or.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
And they shot it, but apparently they left all the in the frame.
Yeah.
All of the applications or what settings were still there. He didn't know what to do. So we him, yeah. And I'm listening to Bob telling stories, and I know Bob for years, and he knows he's a storyteller. And I told Don, let's bring a camera, let's shoot. Really, I mean, the way he's telling stuff, we can do something with it. I never thought that it will become a feature or you can edit into 90 minutes, but he's such a good storyteller. There's a lot of history that he tells, and he knows how to tell it and how to present it. And we added some footage, and it became a documentary. You know, it was never meant to become a documentary. One thing that I had to say that brilliantly, At the end of the movie, there is a song that a blues guitar player, fingerstyle, Jack LaBotz, wrote for Bob. It is called The Ballad of Bob Wall. It's amazing. You know, he's a fingerstyle guitar player. Uh, and it's like you hear that song, you want to play it again and again and again and again. I think this is what made the documentary, you know.
Nice, nice. But it's at least worth watching to hear his stories.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Because he knew Bruce Lee, he knew Chuck Norris. He was there in the American martial arts. He's one of the pioneers. He was there from the beginning. I mean, Joe Louis, Chuck Norris. I mean, everybody. Kurt Burleson. They're always. I mean, he was right there amongst them. He knows everybody. Everybody knows him, and he is very. I mean, he's very intelligent in the way that he's telling the story, and yet it's very interesting. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. Nice, nice. I got to check it out. And he's legit too. He's a legit
Yes,
karate man.
yes.
So, Special Forces, this film right here, Special Forces, was this the very first time you worked with this guy?
Yeah, but I have to just go before. I did a movie before that. After the first movie in Bulgaria, I said I don't want to come back because it was a mess.
Right.
But about a year and a half, 2 years later, I came to Bulgaria and I showed Special Forces. That I took people that worked with me in WMAC Masters and later even in Power Rangers, like Hakeem Alston and down Southwark. And I shot a movie, and the fight choreographer and the second unit director was Andy Cheng from the Jackie Chan team. And basically, the idea was to do a movie that is totally cheesy, totally comics, because the story was not really logical. So
Right.
we went the whole way, and there was a lot of amount of fighting. We really, Andy and I divided the load, you know. We were like shooting back to back. I was here, he was there. The first fight that he shot. I like certain lenses, and the first one was he likes more tighter lenses. I like more looser lenses, and going closer it gives it more of a, I call it again spaghetti western feel.
Yeah.
But and that was the first movie I worked with Marshall Teague. So later, when the idea to do Special Forces came, I said, okay, I would like to do it. I'd like to do it with Marshall Teague. At that time, and that's the story of Scott, my good friend Don Warner, we used to get to our office many VHS tapes of people that wanted to get into movies. And I used to watch them in the beginning, and then I got tired. Why? Because there were some people were at good martial arts but didn't know how to do stunts. Some were stunt people but couldn't do really good martial arts, or some were couldn't even act. You know, at a certain point, I didn't want to watch it. One day, I came to the office, and Don told me, "Look, Isaac, I got this thing from an English guy. I think you should watch it." And I said, "I don't know. I did what I did on my way home." He stops and says, "Isaac, I still think that you should watch it." And I said, "Okay, don't put it." So he puts the tape, and I start to watch skeptically like this. And I see him, it starts with body shots and whatever. I say, okay, he looks charismatic. Can he move? And then you see some martial arts technique. I say, okay, he's got good martial arts. Can he do stunts? And then I see all the stuff that is what I call screen fighting, and he's doing it amazingly. I said, wow, can he act? And then comes scenes from BBC. You cannot be more drama than BBC. And I'm saying, wow, I'm taking the phone and I'm calling. It's in the middle of the night in England, and I'm giving a message. Listen, I want to work with you, etc., etc. I took the tape. I went directly to Millennium, to my friend Boz Davidson, that is the producer of most of my movies. And I told him, Boz, you got to see that. And I showed him the tape, and he had kind of the same reaction. And he told me, let's tailor a role for him in Special Forces. So we tailored that role of an English operative that is a little bit rogue and is up there. And that was the first time that I worked with Scott. And
Nice.
I knew that I want to work with him again and again. And I had a feeling in my stomach, many times you go according to the feeling that this guy will be a star, that he's got it, you know? And it
Yeah.
was always a dream. You want to say, I want to, I will not say discover, but work with somebody that I know that we work together really well. And
Yeah.
I had a feeling that this will be with Scott.
Nice. And you made that connection, and man, you really helped his career and kind of put him on the map, and man, he is a huge star today. And his fight scene that you had him, the one-on-one fight scene in this film is phenomenal. This is
So let me tell
really
you something
really
about
good.
what I did. Yes, some fight scenes in the movie. I shot most of them. But that fight scene, I wanted to be very, very special. I was working with my friend Yuji. This is what we did. Because sometimes the trick is to put your ego, leave it out the door, and think of the movie. And I said, Yuji, I'm going to shoot all of the other action, whatever, whatever. You go with Scott. Go to this warehouse. It was all in the studio. And let's make this fight scene, shoot it right, and make something spectacular. And that's what they did. They shot it for about 3 or 4 days, and they were a unit by their own. Usually know my style because we worked together from Power Rangers. We worked many, many
Yeah.
times together. It's like I call him my brother from another mother. Okay, so, basically that's the way that it was, and it was amazing experience, and this audience really loved it. You know, when we screened it, and they really burst clapping. You know, when that
Yeah.
fight ended up.
That was a phenomenal fight. But that is awesome. You know that he become your brother from another mother. I love that saying. But here's this
You
big
know,
one right we got right here. This one right here, baby.
okay,
Undisputed 2.
so
Oh
here's the
yeah.
story here. I mean, the story is this. Uh, I love Walter Hill, one of my favorite directors.
Yes.
Uh,
The Warriors. The Warriors. Love the Warriors.
Warriors come out and play, Streets on Fire.
Yes.
I mean, his westerns, Southern Comfort. I love Walter Hill. So, I mean, Hard Times, Charles
Hmm.
Bronson.
Yeah.
So basically, uh, Millennium came to me and said, we want you to do a sequel to Undisputed. And I read the script, and it was a boxing script. And I told him, look, if you look at Undisputed 1, you can see that whoever did it was a boxing lover. People enjoyed it. They love boxing. I want to do it as a mixed martial arts movie.
Nice.
Now, mixed martial arts at that time was just beginning. They didn't even understand what I'm talking about. What is mixed martial arts? I told them, look, it's a combination of, I simplified karate and judo and boxing. And they kind of, oh, there is something like this. So, and then I knew that the only person that can play that role is Michael J. White.
Yes.
I met Michael a few years before. Michael is a legit martial artist. He's an excellent actor. He was supposed to be in WMAC Master, but he got that role to play Tyson with George C. Scott. And when you
Right.
see the way that he plays Tyson with George C. Scott, and it's like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
And I met him before because he was gracious here before to come and meet me and even to come to a screening of High Voltage that in the middle of the screening, they changed the rules and people had to wait an hour until people put this in order. He was gracious to sit and wait and everything. I knew he
Nice.
was the right one to play George Chambers.
He's
Now,
awesome.
the problem was Boyka. A new image wanted a known actor to play it, and they wanted him to be mean and menacing and a bad guy. And I had a different idea. Scott told me, look, guys, if you ever get this role, I promise you I'll do my very best to do my very best.
Yeah.
I took his word as is. Now, the problem is Michael is 6'3". Scott is 5'10". A big difference.
Yeah.
And Scott doesn't look like a menacing Russian. And I said, I want to go with Scott. Everybody freaked out. People told me, you're crazy, you're ruining your career. Only boss told me, look, you're the director, but you have to take responsibility for it. So I basically told Scott, do not shave, do not cut your hair, do not shave. Scott was training day and night in the gym. I went to Bulgaria. We shot it in Bulgaria. And I said, make me a shoes with a platform of about 3 inches for him. Bring me a very heavy jacket for his character. That jacket was there in all the movies, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And a very thin jacket for Michael. So when Scott came, we didn't know, we started cutting his hair. I did it with a makeup artist she was an elderly lady that had a lot of experience. We almost cut everything, and then Scott took whatever was left from his beard and put it like this, and the character came alive. So it was a whole very risky, but it was a good bet. Now, another thing, I felt that the character should be honest in his own way. And it worked, People really became to like the character of Boyka, even though he's not a nice guy, he's a grump, but he's honest in his own way. So now so you have to understand some of the scenes, not even the fighting, some of the dramatic scenes, Scott was in his shoes and Michael was barefoot, so you can...
Right.
And I manipulated the lens,
Yeah, I didn't even notice at all that
Yes.
the height difference. It just worked.
That's good. So basically, this is how Boyka came to life. I love it's my favorite movie, and the reason is when I went and I did it. Look, I know that I'm a B-movie director, and I'm proud of it. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I like B movies. I came to the States really only to do B movies. I never had big dreams of Hollywood studios and whatever. I really like B movies. But I wanted to do it as so-called independent movie. And when I went and I went and I did, I said, look, this will be a sports movie because I don't like jail movies. I remember I said with Michael, he also doesn't like jail movies. And we came with a clear decision to make something like The Longest Yard of Robert Aldrich, like with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Which is a sport movie that happens in jail,
Right, yeah.
So that was the decision. Because before they shot a movie in Bulgaria with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Ringo Lam was the director. It was called From Hell. Very, very depressing movie. I couldn't see it. It was so depressing. And I said, I don't want to do a movie like this. I cannot.
Right.
So basically, we started shooting Undisputed 2, and to my luck, the character that became a very important character in the movie was the snow. The snow was falling all the time, and it became a part of the movie. And I knew it because Boaz, our producer, knew it. We were relying on it. In the first 2 days, the snow didn't come. We put like some foam, and the snow really came. There's a fight scene in the yard of the jail where Michael is helping. What's his name?
Ben Cross.
Ben Cross. Yes. Yeah. And right after the fight, they start talking, and I said, I'm going to do all of this scene with a Steadicam as a long continuous shot. So they start to walk, and the snow start to fall. By the end of the scene, it's all white. The yard becomes from green to white in one shot,
Yeah.
So, and it was, the snow became a part of the movie. Now, you have to understand another thing. I grew up in Israel. Then I moved to California, Southern California. No, you don't really see snow falling. To me, seeing snow falling was something new. I remember I turned to the crew and said, that's the very first time I really saw snow falling. Everybody was laughing at me, or with me, whatever. But it was something, for me, it was like, wow, the snow did something for me. So anyway, that's Undisputed 2.
Oh man, what a phenomenal movie. And again, back to Ben Cross, great performance in this film.
Amazing.
Really
Amazing.
Good actor. Chariots of Fire, man. Chariots of Fire.
Yes. One take, one take. You don't need a second take with him. He's so good. He's so in the money. And
Yeah.
again, it's like all the elements fell correctly in that movie. And Ellie Dunker, that worked also in Special Forces, was the bad guy, created a total different character of Krot, the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And Ken Lerner, that plays the sleazy manager of Michael J. White,
Yeah.
and
Another good actor.
who plays the warden, and Marky Vanir, who plays Gaga, the
Yeah.
charming mafioso. So
Yeah.
I'll hear the story later
Sure.
because Mark did a movie later with what's his name? Anne Benning and Simon Hoffman. What's his name? Anyway,
That's fine. That's fine. But
anyway,
yeah, this
they're in New York, and
yeah.
the cab stops. I mean, all of those big stars are standing on the light, and the guy comes from the driver looks at Mark and says, "You good actor, Gaga, great character," and drove away. Philip Seymour Hoffman, and
Oh.
Benning, but he ignored him. He was talking to Marky Vanir,
Oh wow, how awesome is that? But yeah, this actor as well. I loved him in the
Yeah,
film.
Ellie Dunker, yes.
Yeah, very good.
No,
Very
it's
good.
her extensions, and
Yeah.
he got the idea. I was sitting on the flight from Tel Aviv to Sofia, and he sits next to somebody that is doing hair extension, and he comes and said, "Look, I have an idea. Why don't we add hair extension?" And I said, "Wow, what a great idea!" And
Yeah. There
it
you
helped.
go.
Yes,
But yeah, phenomenal film. You and Scott made Yuri Boyka an icon. He is an icon, the character. And we're going to get into Undisputed 3 a little bit later. But yeah, this was my introduction to you. And I was like, oh, I got to write down Isaac Florentine's name. And then Scott Adkins, who is this guy? Because, I'm a big, huge Michael J. White fan. So I bought the film to support Michael J. White. And I'm a big fan of him. And then I was just like, right when that movie got finished, I was like, I'm all about this Scott Adkins guy, man. Like, this guy's phenomenal. I was like, oh man, I got to keep an eye out for this guy's work. But I
but
love the story.
I have to add something. Michael is an excellent martial artist.
Oh yeah,
He had to bring his martial arts down in that movie because of the character to play only as a boxer.
yeah,
So you don't see how awesome he is in martial arts and it was a conscious decision. We talk about it because he plays as a boxer. So
yeah,
if you can be as spectacular as Scott, you go with the character, you serve the character,
yeah,
Another thing, if you look at the fights and at the angles and at the cuts, look at it and you'll see Power Rangers. Clean up forget that it's looking gritty.
right.
It's Power Rangers. Now, I had a great cinematographer there, Ross Clarkson, and we later did about 7 movies, But he understood in the beginning it was hard to shoot with him because we had time to adjust. And the fight choreographer was J.J. Perry, that now is a big director, But once we went to the ring, he understood exactly what we were looking for, and he just delivered. I think he's the best camera operator in the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I love the story of a boxer having to evolve, into something better. And man, did he really kick ass, this character, man. By the end of the movie, it was phenomenal. Just a phenomenal film. And it's funny because you're talking about, oh well, I like B movies and all that. Let me tell you something right now. This movie, yeah, it's smaller budgeted. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. The quality of the movie is all that matters. And this movie delivered. It had comedy in it. It had drama in it. It had great performances. It had amazing fight sequences that were filmed perfectly. This checked all the boxes for me. And that's
And it had snow.
Yeah, you get some snow, man. But this movie right here at my job where I used to work, this was the tape sharer movie. Like, I bought it, gave it to my buddy at work. You have to see this. He loved it. Then he passed it to another guy at my job for him to watch it. He loved it, and it just kept going around my whole job. Every guy that was there, my friends and stuff like that, they all loved the movie. They were like, "This is legit. This is a legit This is like the best martial arts movie they've seen in years. And because of, your phenomenal work with this, I hate to say it, but a couple of years later when Expendables came out, I was disappointed. I was kind of disappointed in Expendables. No, that's a fun trilogy and I like watching it now. But when the first Expendables movie came out, I was kind of disappointed because you spoiled me with quality action that was in this. You spoiled me, my friend. So, it does the budget at the end of the day doesn't matter. It's the quality of the movie, and there's so much quality in this film. And I could talk about just this movie all day, but we have to move on. I don't want to keep you too much. But Undisputed 2 is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. And a lot of again, going back before we move on, a lot of mainstream action movies at the time, I didn't like the way they were filming their fight scenes. I didn't like too much shaky cam, too much quick cut editing.
You
And
have
then
to,
here,
yeah,
yeah,
you have to see the choreography.
yeah,
You got to see the choreography. You got to understand where it's related to the geography. Yeah, look at Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly when they dance, no cuts. You see them back to toe. For me, when people ask me about action, I said, forget about action. Go take Sing in the Rain. See Donald O'Connor doing Make Them Laugh, Make Them Laugh.
yeah.
That's action. Every segment is a shot, and it goes from one segment to another, and you see the geography. This was really the inspiration how to shoot action correctly.
Yeah. And you see him flipping off the wall and doing all this
Yes.
crazy stuff in that scene,
Yes.
But yeah, Undisputed 2 really kind of set the standard. It gave me it was a breath of fresh air because, yeah, we love the story of Borm's supremacy in the third movie. We love the story, we love the characters, but watching the way those fight scenes were edited and filmed was so frustrating, really frustrating. But thankfully, we got directors like you reminding us
Thank you.
how martial arts movies and action movies are supposed to be filmed. Thank you so much. Yeah, got another one here where it's got some legit action. How was it working with Van Damme in this one?
So I knew Jean-Claude years before. One day I got a phone call that was in my house, and it was Jean-Claude. He says, Isaac, I got your phone from Sam Fissenberg, the director of American Ninja, etc.
Yeah.
I know that you're a martial artist. Can we meet? And we met. I mean, I went to he was living not far away from me, and we met after an hour. When I grew up at home, my parents were speaking French with me, so I can speak French and whatever. We hit it right. Anyway, and we became friends, and also he's a good friend of Don, we became really friends, and it was an opportunity to do a movie together. Moshe Diamant really put us together, and we did that movie. So
nice, but there's some really good legit action in that film. I enjoy it, and you got Kevin Lambert here saying he loved Shepherd Border Patrol, and we got some fans here of the film. And was it a dream match up for Scott? Because I know he was a big Van Damme fan, and they had a fight sequence at the end of that movie. Was he fanboying out?
absolutely, absolutely. And they did after they did about 5 or 6 movies together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was cool seeing him in the Expendables too. All right, so now you just had to take me back to my childhood here. Now you got to take me back to the '80s. Speaking as Sam Furstenberg, I ran into him at a Dragon Fest convention. Very nice man. It was an honor to meet him, and I was just like, man, I love your movies. And Avenging Force was phenomenal. I was late to the game with that one, and I was just like, dude, Avenging Force is so good.
Yeah.
And he was so humble, and he was like surprised he had fans. I was like, but you're the man. What are you talking about? So, in honor of the '80s and the Sho Kosugi films, is that some of the inspiration for Ninja?
Yes. So this is how that movie happened. I got a phone call one day, and it was again. Boss says, "Look, Isaac, Warner Brothers are going to do a Ninja movie." I said, "Wow!" And Avi Lerner, the head of the company, says he's upset. I said, "Why is he upset?" He says, "What do you mean why he's upset?" They're doing ninja movies. We have to do ninja movies. That was our bread and butter in the 80s. We should do it. movie. So the concept behind that movie, because there was a little bit more money, and this is where I made a mistake, by the way. I said I want to shoot it a little bit comic style, and the idea was, if you look at the Batman movie, Batman is taking ninjutsu, right?
Right.
And I wanted to take it the opposite. A ninja becomes like, or the bad one becomes like high tech ninja, and the good one is still the Scott,
Yeah. Yeah.
the old style ninja. And we came up with this. We shot it again in Bulgaria in the New York street. I honestly don't like the movie. I felt, and I was carrying it, and I said, I did a mistake. I should have never made it like comic style. I should have made it more realistic. Even though I really like the subway scene, I think that it's really solid.
Oh,
I
that was a
love
good fight.
the first
Yeah.
20 minutes of the movie. Another thing that I didn't tell Millennium is that I wanted, because I'm coming from martial arts, I know the history, and I was inspired by the last of really real ninja was Seiko Fujita, that was teaching in the 1930s in Tokyo, in Nagano, espionage to the Japanese soldiers or special units, and later was operating against the British in Burma in the 40s during World War II. He came to Japan later, really taught no one, and died in 1966. And all the who's who in the Japanese martial arts came to his funeral. So I was inspired by his character. So what I did is I wanted to bring that everything in Japan will be shot in Japanese, and I wanted to bring Japanese actors. And in Millennium, they told me, "Why do you need? I mean, you're here in town. Who knows who is Filipino? Who knows who is Korean?" I said, "Of course, people know. Japanese, even Japanese American, you see the difference. You have to bring Japanese from Japan." Luckily, the late Danny Lerner, that was the producer of the film, totally supported me, and we brought a team from Japan. And it was really worthwhile. And I shot the first 20 minutes of the movie only at the end after the action, because it was all in Japanese. I didn't want them to freak out. But but in a martial arts movie, when you shoot in Japanese, it's okay. The audience accept it, you know. So I like the first 20 minutes of the movie. I like the subway scene, and the rest I really didn't like. I was carrying it with me, even though it
Mm.
was a pleasure to shoot it. But I knew I did a mistake. The character of Casey was too good, and
Mm.
too good is boring. You want to add an edge. And
Yeah.
later, years later, in 2013, I had the opportunity when we did Ninja Shadow of a Tear to correct that mistake. So
Gotcha.
Ninja Shadow of a Tear, that Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear that was shot later, I felt that I really corrected all of the mistakes that
Yeah.
I did before. You know, I had a good producer, Frank DeMartini, and of course, Boss Davidson. We shot it in Thailand.
Yeah.
Scott becomes a darker character because they
Yeah.
kill his wife, you know. So,
Yeah. Ninja Two Shadow of a Tear is phenomenal. I rank that as one of your best. But
can
still, for fight
yes,
fans, there's still some good stuff in Ninja. I mean,
yes,
there's still quality action here. This fight on the rooftop, that was reminding me of Revenge of the Ninja a little bit. I
yes,
mean, they're still here for fight fans to enjoy. And the end fight in the street, the finale fight was legit. Like, it was
yeah.
really exciting. So there is stuff there for fight fans.
In
Um,
the fight on the roof, there is a shot that got lost, and sometimes that really got lost. Nobody found
oh
it.
no,
Now I see there was a shot here missing. You know, we had to cut it off.
no.
Especially when you get the action. I planned before, so it's like
Yeah.
Lego. You need a piece here to add, you know, and it's missing. So anyway,
But yeah, so we can keep talking about it here. You have two legends in this movie.
yes,
Love Kane Kasugi's legit,
amazing.
just like his father, and this is phenomenal. This is one of Scott Adkins' best and one of your best, one of my favorites
Amazing job.
in your
Yes,
library. But yeah, I was like, right in the beginning where the love interest dies, I was like, yeah. I was like, yay, no love. Let's get to the action.
Yes, 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 yes.
But yeah, great fight between the two titans here. I mean, look, this is how you film action. Look at this. Look at this.
I have
How
to
many
talk.
movements? How many movements right there before you, and the camera's still in one shot. Look at this. This is phenomenal.
And look, I mean, you go tight when you need to. You go back to see,
Yeah,
and
phenomenal. And yeah, just all the action sequences were just completely put the first movie to shame. And so then the first movie had a lot of some good legit action in there, but
so
this
this is
one just
T-Man.
cranked it up to 11 here, man.
T-Man was the fight choreographer, and then I worked with him really in every movie. Almost. I mean, I worked with Larnell in Undisputed 3 and I mean, Jeremy Marinas in Cold Range and Larnell in Seized again. But many times also with T-Man is amazing. He's from Sweden, by the way. And the interesting thing he was teaching, even though my sensei karate dojo, he was teaching Taekwondo there in that dojo. So it was,
Oh,
and he's so organized. He's amazing. Yes.
nice. You got some fan comments here. James says we need Ninja 3. Hopefully one day we'll see, right? We'll see. Who knows what the future will hold. But I'm definitely for that. Let's see. We have another comment here. Hold on. Jose says the best. I love Isaac Florentine. Inspiration.
Thank you.
There you go. Warlord Rising says, hell yes, this man knows how to direct martial arts scenes. Yes. But love Ninja 2, man. And the bar scene, the bar fight sequence, man,
Yes.
that was so good. So good. So good.
Scott
But
put the take in that one, and it was my fault. We had a good take, and I said, let's do another one. It was a mistake.
oh no.
It's okay.
I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Undisputed 3 Redemption here, another big one, another fan favorite here. And it was awesome that we actually had here in the movie dojo a couple weeks back. We actually had Marco Zaror here, hanging
Yes.
out with the samurai, and he's a great guy. He had a lot of great things to say about you, and it was awesome having him here to talk about his career as well. But yeah, gotta love Dolor, man. It's one of the best villains in martial arts movie history with his chocolate. I mean, it's just it's one of the best villains ever.
He
And
is
this movie,
not doing it.
I already enjoyed Kiltro, and then once I watched this movie, I was like, that's it. I'm Marco Zaror fan for life. But it was great having him here on the
JJ
podcast.
Perry introduced me to Marco Zorro.
Who did?
JJ Perry.
Oh, all right, nice. But yeah, Marco's at another level here.
Yes.
What's special about this movie?
He's so big and so tall. He's 6'3" or 6'4", but he thinks that he's 5'2". One of those crazy stuff.
It's insane. His athletic ability is just insane. But what I really loved about this movie was I was trying to think really hard when this film came out, and I watched it, and we all enjoyed it here. And of course, I had to go out and buy it. I was thinking really hard. When was the last time I saw a movie where the antagonist of a film became the protagonist in the sequel of the movie? And I was thinking really hard, and I couldn't think. I was like thinking, I mean, I'm sure it exists, but it's an extremely rare thing that the antagonist of one movie, that you have a sequel, and then he's the protagonist. And that's very awesome. Like, that's a very rare thing to see. And it was very unexpected because when this came out, I was like, oh, where's Michael Jai White? And then I watched it and I was like, oh, it's about Boyka? That's interesting. And it's all in the title, redemption. And the character was trying to redeem himself. And I was just like, man, this is really good.
That idea, that concept of taking the bad guy of the previous movie, or the antagonist, and making the protagonist is also Undisputed 2, because George Chambers was played by Ving Rhames in Undisputed.
That's right. Thank you.
What hit you is that Michael J. White is not Ving Rhames. So you saw it, you didn't see it,
Yeah.
Here you know that Scott was Boyka here and he's Boyka there, and it's the same. It's like a continuous, you know.
Yeah.
So it's more like in your face, you know.
Right, right. But no, that's a good point. I forgot about that. Ving Rhames was kind of, I forgot they're the same character. But yeah, I enjoyed the concept. I really did. And the fights in this was phenomenal, especially, Scott's fights with Marco Zaror. This is like probably one of the best fights in martial arts movie history. And another popular one is Latif here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is a phenomenal fight. A lot of people consider this his best one-on-one fight in his career. He was just recently on Scott Adkins' podcast, The Art of Action. He was a guest on there, which was really awesome. But yeah, he's another level. Latif is. He's phenomenal.
So I have to
But
tell you a story about it. I mean,
sure.
first when we shot it, it was hard, and Larnell was very demanding. You know, even in the days off, he used to work with them, with the actors. No days off. He worked like all the time. After we went, the movie was invited to a festival. It was the very first Action Fest festival, the first and the last. And we were out of the competition because we had distribution. But when the judges saw the movie, they decided to give it best director and best fight choreography. They said they couldn't ignore it, you know. And I think it was that fight of Latif and Scott and the one with Marco. I mean, they really fell for it, you know. So yes,
Nice. Well, it's well deserved. I mean, and Marco, like I said, Marco's ability is just like you said. He thinks he's 5'6" or whatever you said earlier. His ability is insane. Yeah, he is phenomenal, and hopefully we can get him back here on the podcast. But yeah, look at this guy. Yeah, sure, I can just flip backwards and come down with an axe kick. Yeah, it's easy. Oh, but yeah, just love Undisputed 3. You know, it's funny.
we learned from that movie. In Undisputed 2, we had a smaller ring, and here we had a bigger ring, like 8x8, so we can shoot more comfortable. You know, we
Yeah,
learn from the mistakes. You know.
yeah, yeah. But we couldn't even tell that you made any mistakes in Undisputed 2. What's fun is for fans of your movies, there's always this debate. Everyone has their favorite, which is awesome, which is a compliment to you. But everyone has their favorite. They're like, no, Undisputed 2 is better. No, man, Undisputed 3 is better. You know, they go back and forth, but they love both films. But everyone has a favorite, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Yuri Boyka even became even bigger. The character itself became
Yeah.
even a bigger icon. Just phenomenal, just badass, and we enjoy that character in that series definitely. Again, the Western vibe, keeping it going in close range here. Any stories about the filming process of this?
So this movie happened because the distributor was supposed to sell a movie with that title, and he had a different actor and different director, and he kind of got stuck. Ehud Bleiberg, and he came to me, and I said, "Look, I understand that it's very low budget. I know that I can ask Scott to be in that movie." And the movie originally was in the set in the East Coast, and I said, "No, it reads like a Western. It's always the Western for me.
Yeah,
Let's make it like in a place in Arizona." And basically, that's what we did. And Jeremy Marinas was the fight choreographer, and we shot it for 19 days, very fast, very rough.
wow.
Yes, it was a rough shooting, you know, but we managed to pull it off. So
My favorite part of the movie is the opening fight sequence where you film it like it's one
one
take.
shot,
That
yeah,
was phenomenal. That's my favorite part of that movie.
yes.
Favorite part. But yeah, action and fight fans will definitely find some fun moments in this film. Definitely, I enjoy the fight scenes inside the house too, where Scott was taking on multiple guys inside the house. That was really good. That was really a lot of fun. So, did you prepare uh, Antonio Banderas for Acts of Vengeance?
No,
Okay. Oh, really?
Antonio, that was the very first movie I did with him. And the people in the stunt people in Bulgaria, people worked with him before, and they told me, "Isaac, you're going to enjoy working with him." And I met him, and he says, "Look, I learned choreography very fast." And I was skeptic. And the first action scene that we did is when he beats everybody next to the car with the dog,
Yeah.
because he came only a few days before shooting. And I was, and he's doing the action. He's not even going to his trailer. He's there with us all the time, enjoying it. And he came
Nice.
to me after and says, Isaac, I told you not to worry. I said, yeah, I was worried. He sees the choreography. He sees it once. He tries it. Let's do it. It's really
Wow.
such an, it's such a, he did almost all his stunts.
Oh
Really, I
wow.
wanted to do it,
Yeah.
insist, including stuff, telling him, Antonio, we don't see your face. No, I want to do it. Okay. By
Nice.
taking by pen, he tells me, oh, I regret I said it. So, but yes. So, in what happened in that movie, there was a role for an elderly karate sensei. And the stunt coordinator, Theo, that I know him very well, worked with him many times before, comes
Yeah.
to me, and Timan. They say, Isaac, we know you. You are a karate bum. You are a karate freak. We can bring a stunt guy to do it, but it will not be clean karate, and you'll drive everybody crazy. You should do it. And I said, guys, I'm very nervous in front of the camera. I'm really very nervous.
Oh wow.
So, but I said, okay, I'll do it in one condition, that Timan will play the judo and jiu-jitsu teacher of Antonio. And we did it. And I was really nervous. We shot it for about 2 hours. Antonio helped me. I was nervous. Yeah, honestly, I was.
Yeah.
All I had to do is really karate techniques that I'm familiar with that. And he wanted to take all the falling, and I, I, I kind of was hesitant about it. But it was a nice moment. That
Yeah.
2 hours that I kind of stood
Yeah.
away from my director's chair and then went back and I said, okay, good enough.
That's it. But it was fun seeing you in the movie. I was like, hey, Isaac's in the movie, man. That's awesome.
Thank
Your
you.
little cameo there. But Acts of Vengeance, straight up vigilante film here. Was there any pushback by the studio or any execs or were there any issues with this one in terms of, did they kind of get freak out and be like, wait, our main star is not going to talk? Did you get
Oh,
any like, oh, awesome, that's
now,
good.
what happened is I had a script and Matt Vane wrote it. And I gave it to Millennium and they loved it. And it sat there for a few years until one day Avi told me, look, Antonio is interested in meeting you. He read the script. I was then, again, I was in Tel Aviv, I was in Israel. And I flew, all I had with me shorts and sandals. My middle daughter got me a pair of jeans. I flew to England and met him. And we hit it right. And I think that the reason why we hit it right, my ancestors are the Spanish Jews that in 1492 were deported by the Spanish Inquisition. And we still, over those generations, the language was kept with those families. So I speak a 15th century Spanish dialect.
Oh wow.
When I was walking to Antonio's place, he told me in Spanish, Isaac, ¿cómo estás? How are you? And I answered him in Spanish. And he said, wow, you're Sephardic. And he knew exactly what I was. And again, it's like with Dov, the ice broke. Immediately we hit it right. I was supposed to meet with him for 30 minutes. I was there for about 3 hours. And after 3 hours, I felt uncomfortable. I said, listen, I have to give you some time. We had a nice meeting. I'm going.
Yeah.
So it was a pleasure.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, the action in this is legit, and it is awesome seeing Antonio kick ass and take names. How was it working with Carl Urban?
Good, good. Yeah, he came. He did what he had to do. He was there, absolutely. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
He was big in this one.
Yeah,
He bulked up for this role, man. He was
yeah,
huge.
he played the bad guy, like
Yeah,
the
and
good that becomes the bad.
yeah, and the fight at the end is legit.
Yes.
Like the fight between them is really badass. It's really good.
So I have
It's
to
my
tell you,
favorite part of the movie.
there is, because there were lights from both sides, shining lights.
Yeah.
Antonio cut his eye. We had to send him to stitches. He didn't want to leave the set. We had to send him to get stitches. At the end of the fight, when you see his eye bleeding and whatever, not bleeding but swollen, it
Yeah.
looks like a bad makeup. It's not bad makeup. It's his real swollen eye.
Oh wow.
Yes, it's not bad makeup. It's his real cat eye.
Wow, wow. He was really a trooper in this one. That's awesome. He's like, I'm gonna do this.
Was a trooper all the time.
But
Well,
just the fight was just really good, and you had the mixed martial arts in there a little bit, and I remember there was a one part of the fight where I think Urban or someone tried to tackle or spear the other guy, and the other guy sprawled out
yes,
of it. That
yes,
was phenomenal.
yes.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Really good
So
stuff.
here's the trick. I'll tell you some. Okay, some of my tricks.
Yes.
The floor is actually a mat. What I do in order, because when I do a movie, it's safety first. I don't. We're just doing an action movie. Nobody should get hurt. You should have fun. And I'm not doing it from being altruistic. I'm doing it actually from being egoistic, selfish. Why? Because I know that if there is a chance that the stunt guy or the actor will get injured, they stiffen up and they don't relax and they don't come. Their performance will not be to its best. So what I try to do is that the floors, it's really a mat that is painted like that floor. So
All right.
I did a movie just before, and he did it on a real cement floor, and he told me, Isaac, you should have been there because he got injured, didn't even have any sleeves. And I always insist on my character to wear leather jackets because under you can hide the pads,
Padding.
you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yes. So now they're fully safe, and you know it's a mat. You know you won't get hurt. You are padded, so you can go for it. But for the
Nice.
audience, with the sound, and it looks like it's a cement floor or whatever, but it's not. So some of the little things. So you
Yeah.
can fight like this, and it looks dynamic and everything. But if you think about it, they had a mat. It doesn't look like a mat.
Right.
It's a mat.
Didn't even notice.
Yes.
I didn't even notice. That's awesome. Yeah, but hey, safety first, right? Safety first. That
Yes.
is awesome. But yeah, I didn't even notice. That's really cool. So Seized here is your most recent film. How was it filming this one? And how was it working with Mario Van Peebles? Man, I haven't seen that guy in a while.
Mario is a fantastic actor. He's an awesome actor. And because he's also a director, he was there to help me all the time. It was a pleasure to work with him.
Nice,
The
nice.
problem in Seas, it was a messy production, and you pay for it on the screen. I had a great crew, but the production was messy, and
Right.
honestly, I'm not happy from the result. Neither me, neither Scott. If I compare it to Close Range that was shot also for about 19 days.
Yeah.
Close Range was organized, and you see it on the screen.
Right.
This was unorganized, and you see it on the screen. I was lucky to have good cast, good crew, and really my right hand, my co-producer Jacob Bressler, that was there. He shot in Mexico before. He had a lot of experience, and he knew how to come with creative solutions to solve bumps that we hit on the way. So,
All right.
yeah.
Well, hey, it's still got something for action and fight fans in this film.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still something. There's still entertainment to be had.
Not
I just watched it.
You know.
Yeah, and Scott was badass with all the weapons, and there's some good action in here. The shootout in the club was really good.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that as well, and of course, you know how you always have the best fight at the end. I enjoyed this fight sequence with UFC MMA fighter Uriah Hall versus Scott Atkins. This is legit good fight.
Yeah, you're right.
Really good.
Yes.
And of course, New Jack City, Posse. You gotta love Mario Van Peebles, man.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He's just.
You could tell he was having a blast with this character, and he was having a good time.
It was a pleasure to work with him. Yeah.
Would you work with him again in the future?
Of course, any day. Absolutely. Not only is an excellent actor, because he's a director. He's there to help you. There are some actors that I have a lot of experience. They know. Like I worked with Christian Slater. I used to I used to stand. He knew where the camera. I mean, he knew exactly. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and these are actors that they love the craft. They love. They love it. You understand me? They love being on the set and doing stuff. And Mario
Yeah.
is one of somebody like this. Christian was somebody like this. Scott is somebody like this. You know, it's like when you work with people who love the craft, it's
Right.
amazing. You know, Antonio, needless to say, is a part of it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I enjoyed Mario's character in Siege because even he got down at the end and was doing some
Oh,
fighting.
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
was like, "What, Mario? Look at Mario stabbing people in the neck and stuff." I'm like,
yes,
"I'm enjoying this. This is fun."
yes,
But
yes.
yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was an entertaining flick. But your resume is amazing. You've come so far, giving us so much awesome entertainment, and keeping real action alive. Like I said earlier, you have all these ridiculously huge budget movies, but it's like their balls were cut. Like it's just we support badassity here on the channel, and we just love the way you film fight sequences and make these fun action films, and this is why you have the following that you have. This is why Scott has millions of followers, because of the quality of your work and all your hard work and entertainment that you have brought us over all these years. And C's just came out, so you're still kicking, and you're still doing that karate kicking, man. And we're looking forward to anything in the future. Whatever your next project is, the Movie Dojo Army is going to be there. Samurai's going to be there. Is there anything you might be working on now that you can kind of tell us, or it's on the hush?
I'm not superstitious, but I have one superstition, which is never to tell what might be coming because I will jinx it. So I
Okay. All
shut,
right.
and hopefully, I mean, this was a hard year with the corona. Nothing was really moving. Who knows? Hopefully, something will come.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, you're so talented, and I'm sure you're going to be filming movies till the end. We will be there, and we will be buying it and purchasing it, and spreading the word, just like I spread that Undisputed 2 DVD at my job. Hey man, check this out. Hey man, check this out. Everybody was watching it and loving it. So we love your work, and we appreciate what you have done for us and the action and martial arts movie community. And Isaac, make this your second home, my friend. You're always welcome back here anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you that you contact me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for being here. It's an honor. So, chat, Movie Dojo Army, you know what you do. If you don't own it already, Isaac's work, you're going to go out and buy it right now. But yeah, some newbies that are just showing up and watching right now, make sure you check out Isaac Florentine's work. He has a hell of a resume, a lot of fun, badass entertainment now and to come. That's right, and we will be there. Thanks again, Isaac. Don't go anywhere. Chat, I will be on tonight. Live Q&A, hang out with the old samurai tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific. Until then, we see you badasses next time. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.